Someone recently commented on my YouTube channel asking to see a 90-day transformation or challenge style video where it shows life while smoking weed and then life 90 days after quitting smoking weed and what changes during that time period. And I despise this type of video. I hate these videos so much. And you see so many of them on YouTube where it's like the 90-day no-fap, transformation, or the 90 days of quitting alcohol transformation, or whatever it is. So I figured I'd make a video about this topic and kind of expose some of the reality when it comes to quitting smoking weed and quitting substances and the actual impact that may or may not have on the person who's quitting. So I went out and I had this fancy thumbnail made where on the one side of the thumbnail I look kind of degenerate, sickly, poor, and I have all these substances in the thumbnail. And then on the other half I have the transformation where I got a money symbol and a big house and a fancy car. I got the symbol for faith. I have a symbol for physical health and fitness, implying that like all these things changed in my life after quitting smoking weed. And although quitting weed did significantly change my life, it's in a different way than you might think, okay? So I'm gonna do my best to explain how it changed to you. The first reality is that not much is going to change in 90 days of quitting a substance in a period of 3 months, okay? It's pretty well accepted that it takes about 3 months to solidify a new behavior or a new habit or a new routine. That doesn't necessarily mean that after 3 months you're going to be successful in that new behavior, new habit, or new routine, okay? So it's typically a period of 90 days where you're just getting started, like you're just scratching the surface of things. And for a lot of people, when it comes to quitting drugs, whether it's quitting alcohol, quitting weed, quitting smoking cigarettes, or nicotine products, the first 90 days are actually kind of rough. There's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows, there's a lot of ups and downs, and quite frankly, the person is often just left feeling tired, unsure of their decision, and really just kind of taking it the one day at a time, just trying to get to the next day. So in many cases, the first 90 days is just kind of a roller coaster ride, and for some people, it can actually really suck, okay? Just a friendly reminder, you're quitting a drug for a reason, it's not because the drug was a great thing. Chances are doing drugs for you sucked as well. That's why you're quitting, so just keep that in mind, okay? Anyways, so that's the first thing I'd have to say about 90 days. Now, consistently practicing new routines, new behaviors, new habits over the course of maybe, in my case, 7, 8 years, 9 years that I've developed since quitting drugs, that I've implemented since quitting drugs, yeah, that has significantly changed my life spiritually, financially, relationship-wise, physical health-wise. But it's literally taken me 9 years. And in my case, when I was using drugs, despite drug use, despite watching adult media content, despite smoking weed, drinking alcohol, I had my own business. I attained a doctorate in chiropractic. I attained multiple other certifications. I was still a pretty motivated and driven individual. So even my time while using substances wasn't completely wasted. And that's important to realize because everyone's going to be at this quitting process at a different point. Some people are going to quit and have already attained a certain degree of success despite substance use. Some people are going to quit and they're going to be at like a super low income, totally broken relationships, health crisis. Everyone's in a different spot when they start. So one person's story about how their life changed after 90 days or a year is going to look totally different than another person's. And that's why these videos are such BS, because they create all these false expectations, and then people perceive these expectations as their own reality. They fall short of it. They don't make the money. They don't land the hot girl. They don't wind up having a family and kids or whatever it is, leveling up in their career, starting that side hustle. And then they feel like they're, you know, like they're in shambles, like they're unsuccessful compared to this other person's 90-day success story, and they wind up relapsing, which is just so stupid. It's just such it's a stupid excuse for relapse, but it happens all the time when we draw these comparisons off these videos. So that's the first thing I'd say. Chances are it takes a lot more than 90 days. Now, financially, when you quit drugs, immediately you should be saving more money. Now, a lot of people, when they quit, they wind up taking that extra money and they like go on a cruise, or they buy themselves like a bunch of clothing or shoes or something to celebrate quitting drugs. When I quit drugs, I took that money, that extra money, and I invested it into my business. I invested it into my chiropractic practice. I invested it into going to seminars, learning how to grow on social media platforms. I hired a business mentor. I hired a YouTube mentor. I invested into cameras. I invested into microphones, all this stuff. So I took my money that I was saving from drugs and I invested it into myself and into other things that could eventually make me more money. And a lot of people are under the impression, like they see my coaching pricing and they're like, oh, you just quit drugs and now you make money helping other people quit. Well, yeah, to an extent, but no, a majority of my income has nothing to do with addiction or addiction recovery services. This channel and this company actually makes me the least amount of money in the things that I do in my day-to-day life. I'm probably one of the only people that actually give everything away for completely free because, you know, fortunately I can afford to do that due to other business ventures. Although we would like to get this a little more profitable, nonetheless. So that's one thing. What you do with your money that you're saving from spending on drugs, you can use that to make you more money, but it's all in how you decide to spend it and how financially responsible you are with that extra money that you have, right? You could quit weed, go blow all that money at a casino, and be in an even worse place financially after quitting weed. And that could be your 90-day transformation, which would suck, right? So that's one thing. The second thing, when I quit smoking weed, I inevitably had more time on my hands. I also physically started to reclaim many aspects of my health. I had psychosis, I had Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome, I had a lot of problems, a lot of health problems. And those health problems were chewing into my time, right? Like I was spending time at doctors. I was spending time researching what was wrong with me. Then I had my addiction. I was spending time smoking weed. I was spending time waking up groggy the next day from smoking weed and drinking alcohol on the weekends. So I wasn't just losing the time that I was spending doing drugs, but I was losing the time that I was feeling crappy on doing drugs, right? So it wouldn't just be, you know, oh, I party Saturday night. It'd be, I partied Saturday night, now I'm hungover Sunday, I'm super anxious on Monday, anxious to a point where I can't even function. And it's just this major series of problems that develop, okay? So I don't think people realize that when you quit drugs, you're gonna get back a lot of time. And people will be like, well, I'm bored, I don't know what to do, I'm bored. Well, and then they sit there and they do nothing, and their life doesn't change. That nothing changes in their life except for the fact that they're now not doing drugs, right? But if you take that time and you utilize it to make yourself more money, to get into better physical shape, to fix your physical health, so then you actually have the energy and you're mentally strong enough to go take on another challenge and another task, yeah, that can dramatically change your life. Financially, physically, psychologically, spiritually, it can dramatically change things. But it all depends on what you're doing with that extra time, with your physical health after quitting, with your mental health after quitting, and with that extra money that you have. One person's gonna quit drugs and they're gonna use their time in a completely different way than another person, right? For me, after quitting drugs, I realized that time is the most important thing that I have in life. And I wasted no time. I wasted no time building up my businesses. I wasted no time getting into a serious relationship. I wasted no time having a kid and plan on having many more children. I wasted no time going after the things in life that I wanted to go after and that were important to me. And that did start with quitting drugs. What quitting drugs gave me was time, physical health, mental health, psychological health, all that stuff. but it gave me a new mindset. I was persistent in my drug use. I was determined in my cannabis use. I was hell or high water, consume, consume, consume. It didn't make a difference. I took that mentality, okay, and I put it into my business. I put it into my relationships. I put it into my career. I put it into my physical health. I took that addiction mindset, the name of my company, it's a mentality, it's a mindset, and I used it to expand on my life all around, okay? And quitting drugs and going through that process, which for me was relatively challenging, it changed me. I went through a hard thing. I suffered a little bit going through it. I suffered through addiction. I suffered when I first got sober. It was hard for me, but I used that experience, and it made so many other challenging experiences in my life easier. Building a YouTube channel, building a supplement company, which, by the way, if you're struggling with the withdrawal symptoms or the cravings, check out our Kick It Crave Less Chewing Gum supplement. You can find it below, learn more about it on the website. It helps with nicotine, cannabis, alcohol, all that stuff. Even though the website makes it look like it's just for cigarettes and nicotine, that's not true. But building that up, building a social media company with my wife, right? Just all my chiropractic businesses. I was heavily involved in the CBD business for a while when I quit. All this stuff, all this incredible stuff came from a flip in mindset, and then having the time, the financial means, and the physical health to go achieve the things that I want to achieve. And ever since quitting, I'll tell you what the biggest thing has been. My life isn't so many dramatic highs and lows. It's just like this steady rise. There might be like, definitely there's down points and there's divots, but all in all, it's this steady rise. Whereas before on drugs, this was like this. There was no up or down or no rise. It was just chaotic. And not in a good type of way, not in a good type of way. I hope this video sheds reality on the 90-day transformation, right? You're not gonna get muscles if you don't go work out. You're not gonna make money if you don't actually work. And you're not gonna, you're not gonna land the hot girl if you don't actually go out there and date and learn how to speak to women, right? And learn how to, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean like learn how to flirt, learn how to have a personality. You're not gonna attain those things that someone else attained, because this is you in your situation and what you're going to do versus them in their situation and what they're going to do. And that's the reality of these 90-day transformations, okay? All right, guys, until next time, if you like this, check out that pinned comment. We offer coaching, we offer supplements, we offer a bunch of free guides, or just follow me in my next video and learn something else good. Until next time.